very honored, very excited, and very privileged to be talking to Eva Erben. She is 89-year-old Holocaust survivor who was born in Czechoslovakia. She was first taken to Terezin and then survived Auschwitz-Birkenau, Rosen, and the death march at the end of the war. During the march, she was only wearing thin clothing, collapsed along the way, and was left for dead. A local farmer found her and took care of her. While she survived, she lost her parents and her extended family. Today, Erben lives in Ashkelon and has 9 grandchildren and 16 great-grandchildren. For over 40 years, she refused to tell her story and to speak in Germany. But today, with the rise of antisemitism and Holocaust denial, Erben is determined to share her story to help fight against antisemitism. And we are so honored to be talking to her, especially as the world over, all of us look at life and death like never before through coronavirus, which has hit all of us. And we realize we are also same in our pain, in our sufferings, and us as humans. Eva, thank you so much.
My first contact with something happening was when I went to buy ice cream to my ice cream parlor where I always went from the school, and suddenly on the door was a big poster and ugly man with a dog on it, and written, "To Jewish and dogs entry forbidden." I thought it's a very bad joke, and I went inside. I bought my ice, but somehow I couldn't eat it. And from this moment, things went very quickly. All kinds of new instruction, the yellow magenta plate, and suddenly I was forbidden to go to school. And they took our car and they took our lovely house, and we must go to a house where all the Jewish went, a small flat. But we must begin that life began very nicely. I was born in a wonderful country, and I had just wonderful parents, well-to-do family. We were not poor. Life was so beautiful. We had a house, we had a car, we had a maid. My mama was. We had a lot of music at home, and nothing looked bad. And so there is such a fate. You can never choose in which country you were born, to which people you were born, what kind of political influence will be on your life. And everything was so promising, and nothing was here to show you that your life will end in such a misery. I say that for everybody, Terezin was a little bit different, because we children were full of hope, we had good friends. If you had a small child in Terezin and without any medicine, without food, there was hunger, there were no vegetables, no fruit, no milk, but with a little bit of luck, no, with a lot of luck, you could survive if you didn't get something terrible. But it was not like any other concentration ghetto. In the year 1944, Terezin was built in the 16th century for Maria Theresia, for her army, and it was for 7,000 people, the quantity. And we have been in 1944 already 78,000 people in the ghetto, and typhus started to walk, and many people died. And then the Germans said that there must be a new ghetto, and my father left, and all men left. And after 10 days, perhaps, the German proclaimed there's a new ghetto already. And so we went 3 days. And after 3 days, we arrived in Auschwitz. It was such an unbelievable shock, when the train stopped. It was unbelievable. You can't believe that this is on your earth. The smell, the sweet, hot smell, the shouting of the dog, the shouting of the German, and these funny people in between. And suddenly a friend of my mother from Terezin came to ask how old you are, say 18. And we went to Dr. Mengele. We didn't know that it is Dr. Mengele. This was the point where he just took left and right, and you didn't know what's happening to you. You had no idea about gas chambers. We have seen the flames, and we saw this is a factory. And they took everything, they shaved our head, and nothing was done the whole day, only counting us. After 3 weeks, we had the other selection from Mengele, and we went to a camp, which was only 3 big, where you put the horses inside, how it's called?
Stables?
Stables, yes. We were more than 1,000 women, only women. I got 2 left shoes. And people got 1 high shoe and 1 sandal, and just without, it was on purpose. So I couldn't walk with the shoes, and I was barefoot in all this cold winter. It was 20 below degree. The commandant of this place was understanding that I am a child, and he told me, go and wait for me there was a little hut, and in this hut he had his room, and after 1 hour he came back with a pair of shoes, with a pair of normal shoes, which a German. So I say always to the children in Germany, not every German was a murderer. He was just German. Really, in the morning, there came jeeps, and the women were just, the joy. Americans hire. But there were not Americans, there were wonderful SS young boys with dogs, many dogs, shouting, and in 10 minutes, they just finished made us on the march. The death march began. But from this day, we went every day about 25 until 30 kilometers. And without food, who was tired, who couldn't go further, and sit down was shot immediately. All the shots, it was every few minutes. It is such a dry sound which goes through the woods, and we went only through woods, not in the normal streets, because the German didn't want the population seeing us. So everything was in the woods. And some people wanted to run away. Some women wanted to run away, to stay somewhere. The dogs always found them, always, and they were killed, they were shot. I remember my mother told me when we were outside what we will do when we come home, what we will buy, and what we will. And I played piano before, and I didn't want so much when I was 5 years and 6 and 7. And I would, I will again play piano, and that we will go to the dentist, because I lost my 2 teeth because of the shoes. And she just know to take me out from this misery. And suddenly I was not so cold, and suddenly I will come home and we will do all these things. I think it's the greatest bravery you can do, because after all, she was 40. Yeah. She was so young, and she knew. And then they gave us to another camp where we were only 250 women from all the thousands, and many died, and my mother died there. And she just told me what to say to my father, because we were sure my father will stay alive, he will come back. And I was very, very cold. I think I was just on my way to eternity. And in the corner, there was some heat coming out, and there must have been a cow there. A cow, and I was so cold and it stinks so much, and I went there and I just lie in all this mist, and when I awaked, I was alone. Nobody was there, and I didn't know how long I stayed there, and I was very, very tired. I was sitting, and suddenly I met a German soldier which was going by the opposite direction. I looked that he must think that I'm a little bit crazy or a lot crazy, and he sat next to me and he gave me from his canister a little bit coffee, and the coffee was with milk and with sugar, and it nearly killed me, because after so long a time, nothing, and the sugar and the milk, I was dying. Don't ask, terrible, terrible. And he said, I am deserter, the war is lost, and I want to go to get rid from the uniform. It was a very nice meeting, and he went, and I went so for 3 days. I didn't meet, and suddenly some boys my age came from the woods and spoke Czech. So I made them, hello, I speak Czech also. And they looked at me and said, a cadaver walking. And I said, no, I am alive. But they told me exactly how to go. And I went for another day. And on the other way there, I have seen houses. And how I came near, though suddenly I hear halt. And the German officer is standing before me with the gun, and the gun is making the clack. And what are you doing here? So I said, I got lost. I spoke German, and I said it very nicely, and he laughed, and he put on me the gun, and at this moment came a second young soldier and took his hand so and said, let her go, she will perish for herself. Can't you see how she looks? And they gave me such a stups, and I just rolled down to the stream of the water. From the other side, from the village, there was a woman, and she has seen me. So she ran home and told her husband, some strange person is next to the stream, come and let's have a look. And they took me. They had a house exactly next to the railways, and there was the station, and the Germans still had their headquarters there, and it was the only way they could get some food and some I don't know, because it was near Pilsen, and in Pilsen the American came and the German capitulated there, and Americans were bombing very, very, very hard all the surrounding, but not the village, only the Pilsen. And the Germans were sitting in the village, so they were afraid to have me in the house. So the brother from the woman came with a horse and with a car, and they put me inside of straw, and through the village, under the nose of all the German military, they brought me to the house in the woods. and I was dying. So they say they must bring a doctor because I will die. So they brought the midwife, and the midwife said, I think she's okay, only she must not eat. And she brought milk from a mother, for a woman which had a baby, was breastfeeding. So she brought for a week her milk. And so I said that I was born again in Postrekov. That's a name you will never pronounce with all the R. And so they kept me until the end of the war. And after 10 days, I started to speak. And I didn't want to say that I'm Jewish. So I took my friend, I took her identity. And at the end of the war, I told them the truth. So I said, do you think we didn't know? We love you, we wouldn't send you away. They were just marvelous people. Then when the war ended, so I thought my father is for sure alive, and displaced persons. Everybody looked for everybody, and on the Jewish community in Prague, there was such a list where you put your name, and everybody who looked. So we put my name, and my aunt found me. My aunt was not Jewish, and she was married to the brother of my mother. I spent a year with her in her house, and then I went to Prague, to the orphanage, where I had all children were the same like me. We all looked somehow again to start our life. And I went to the nursing school, and I was working. But in between, some family in Australia wanted to adopt me because, the Jews which were in Australia, Canada, America, and they didn't go through the Holocaust, so they were very anxious to help the children. But there was the proclamation of Israel, and I went with my friend, and then we went to a very nice cafe on the river Moldau, which is called Manes. And there Peter came, there came a boy, which, the one with the cherries. And we started to dance, we started to dance and continue for 69 years to dance together in Israel. And what we wanted was a quite nice, sure, peaceful home for our children. And I wanted to bring everything back what I had like a child. Peter was the complete opposite from me. We didn't, when people are looking what they have the same, so we had nothing the same. But we had our force to live, to have a family, to love each other, to be faithful to each other. I could be sure that he will never let me go, and he was sure. I don't know, there was something much more. Today marriage is, you must be nice and you must be this and that and that. It was not existent with us.
What I hear you saying is that over 69 years there were ups and downs, but
yes,
the depth of the relationship and the love of the relationship was something that also gave you meaning.
Also, and the gratefulness that we stayed alive, that we just, after the war, you just put things aside. You can't speak. Today I can speak about anything, but I couldn't speak about the women which put their babies and went to the electric wire in Auschwitz because they just didn't know that they put their babies to this.
Yeah.
And when my first daughter was born, so I was dreaming, I forgot it. But when I had a baby, so it came back from somewhere, and I was crying by night, and Peter knew So he went to the bed and he brought the baby and everything and kissed me and everything was okay. My thinking was different and he knew it and I knew his. So perhaps it was the greatest bondage between us. I got the good luck that I could outlive it. But now, what wanted we? To have a country, to be sure, to have for our children a place where we can live normally like everybody out, every nation. And look, the anti-Semitism. I am completely, I understand not every Jew is a most adorable person, but nobody is. I also don't like everybody who is Jewish, but I don't kill them. Let live. Let people live the way they. What is this anti-Semitism? Why must I hear from Iran that we will not go again to Auschwitz because they will bring Auschwitz to Tel Aviv? And nobody says anything. Look, I live in Ashkelon. For years, we have here the rockets coming from Gaza. When the rockets come, I am not running anywhere. If I am in a bathroom or if I am in bed or if we eat, we just stay normal and life is going on. I don't care. But it's not everybody can live this way. I say, okay, I had so many bullets against me. I think this rocket from Gaza doesn't know my address. Knows where I live.
Eva, I want to ask you something, and this is for everyone across the world, for so many people. If you had to look at your own life today, would you look at it from the lens of what happened, or would you look at it from the lens of what you made out of your life? And you've seen death so closely. You've seen death like we can only imagine so closely and so gruesomely. What do you think of life and what do you think of death?
First of all, I think that life is very precious.
Yeah.
Most precious gift you get once in your life. And if you don't do with it something, so you don't get it again. And your fate is something you are impossible to change. You can't. But what you did with your fate. Yeah. Look, many people from the concentration camp came broke and came bitter and never really.
Yeah.
But some, on the contrary, because 4 years we lost. Today, if I would live again, I would like to be an actress, because you live many lives when you are an actress.
Like everyone else who will be watching this, Eva, I wish we can all give you a big hug.
I would like.
I wish we can touch
now,
you.
Mr. Corona, nobody hugs
you. I think sometimes words are so entirely insufficient, and I think anything I would say right now to just describe the journey and the kind of feeling that it instills in our own hearts is, I just can't. What I can say is that so inspired.
I'm so happy to know you. And to have you now, I give you a hug here on your nice cheeks.
Me too. Like I'm speechless. Thank you. And I hope that this is start of our conversation. You have so much to give, so many stories to share, and so many hearts across the world to heal. Thank you so much.
I wish to all the hearts, I wish the best.